Good morning. Welcome to Winter Wonderland. La 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 la. I'm getting ready to walk over to my parents, and hopefully I get this up where you need it. Whoa! Almost fall down. That would have been funny to watch me wipe out. Hubby's already pulled the trash out to the road so my dad can do trash this morning. I'm walking over to my folks to hang out with my mom and clean their floors. And yeah, so this morning I got on the scales. I said yesterday I thought the scales might go up because of all the crazy food I was eating, or the amount of food. I actually lost weight, 185.2. My husband got up this morning and I made him get on the scales and he weighs exactly the same as me. So I gave him a high five. I'm like, yay, because I'm taller than him, so that means I'm a little bit thinner. But anyway, I was happy to see the scales go down despite the fact of what I was eating yesterday. So I must have guesstimated okay, you know, all things considered. So yeah, see if I can walk. This is, yeah, the path to my parents' house and our house and back to me. So I've been working on a video to upload on my anniversary to show my face changes throughout the year. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. I'm not very good at the whole video thing. I'm still learning. But as you already saw, I had chocolate mint keto coffee for breakfast this morning. It was very yummy. And aren't the trees pretty? I just love the way the snow settles on everything. It's cold, but you know, that's okay. It's winter. What are you gonna do? So, I'm almost to my parents. Gonna visit with my mommy, work on the floors, and I will see you in my next clip. Guys, this is my late lunch. It's going on 3 o'clock and I made keto coleslaw. I didn't measure anything. It's pretty much this homestyle mayo, which has no carbs. I don't know if you can see it. And a can of tuna, which I threw the can in the trash. I have another can in the fridge, but anyway, let's see here. Just this Stark-Kissed light tuna in vegetable oil. Probably not the best, but anyway, I like it better than the tuna in the water. And a couple of pickles and half of an onion in there and half of an onion in there. And I'll be honest, I don't feel like measuring anything or putting it all in my Fitness Pal. So I'm going to eat half a bowl of tuna fish with half a bowl of, you know, regular serving bowl. These are just big bowls of coleslaw. So I'll have crunchy and sweety savory because I added swerve to this. So it's kind of a sweet and sour swerve and vinegar and mayo and heavy whipping cream. And this is just the mayo, some pickle juice, pickles, onions, and the tuna. So I'm going to add some more pickles because I like pickles. And that'll be my late lunch, early dinner. I don't know if I'll have another meal or not. We'll see. I'll be back. Hi again. I did a previous video as I was walking out the door that you've already seen, and you've already seen some, probably seen the pictures of what I had for coffee this morning, and my lunch, and my late lunch, second supper, you know, whatever. Yeah, it is, what time is it? 4:34 right now. Hubby is taking a nap. He's still feeling under the weather. I went over and hung out with the folks, well, my mom this morning, and vacuumed all their floors. Sorry, my slippers are... So I thought I would try to do just wrap this up. I know it's relatively early. The tuna salad and the coleslaw, oh my gosh, it was so satisfying and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. Something's shining out of my nose. I must have glitter or something. Glitter! Yeah, I don't know what is going on. That's crazy. My nose is really dry from blowing it a lot lately. Anyway, hello Maggie. You just went out, so go lay down. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, I had mentioned in a previous video that it's that time of the month, and normally I don't hurt, and I haven't really had a lot of aches and pains since I started this way of eating, and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I gotta quit saying and I say it so much I catch myself on the videos and think, why are you doing that? But a year ago at this time, I was completely in pain. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least and 10 being the greatest, I sat at about an 8 most of the time. I was in a great deal of pain. I have a very high pain tolerance, so, and I've learned to just get on with it. I lived on ibuprofen because I refused to take narcotics or narcotic pain medication. And working where I do, I probably could have gotten it fairly easy. I don't believe in it. I think it should be a last resort and a very short-term, temporary type of thing because it is addictive, and I can see it at the clinic where I work that it isn't a very addictive type of thing. So I was in a great deal of pain all of the time. When I would sit down, when I would get up, and this had been going on for years. I worked for 4 years at a chiropractor office, and it was terrible advertising. She gave me regular adjustments anytime I wanted them, anytime I needed them, and she was awesome. And I would always feel better after an adjustment, but because I have arthritis in my hips and because I was so inflamed from eating all of the carbs and the sugars and my body was just in stress all the time. And two things happened. In January, by the time January of last year rolled around, I had been on the glucosamine chondroitin for about 6 weeks. 5 or 6 weeks. And I had already started to notice a change with just taking that supplement. I noticed it within 2 weeks. And it takes 2 weeks to a month for it to get into your system, for it to start doing what it does with the joints, for the pain to go away. So I had already noticed that pain going away. But I still, to get up and down, in and out of a chair, I moved like I was 80 years old. The idea of trying to go for a walk or, you know, do anything, my job is sedentary, pretty much sit most of the time. And that's been my job for a long time now. And so I would stand up at work simply because sitting was painful after a certain amount of time. And now I stand up simply because I'm bored of sitting. But I was in so much pain and a year ago, and just recognizing that I had just turned 49 and that I was in another year, less than a year, I was going to be 50. And the idea that, you know, my intention my whole life has been to live to 101. That's my goal. That's my intention, that I intend to live that long. My grandmother lived to 98. My grandmother on my birth father's side lived to 98. And my grandfather on that same side lived to 93. So that side of the family is very long-lived, and I have the intention of living to 101. Of course, the deal is I told my children they are not allowed to die before me, so that means they have to be long-lived. But I looked at my life and I thought, I want to live this long, but do I want to live in this kind of pain for this long? Do I want to be this out of shape? If I'm this out of shape now, it's only going to go downhill from here. They say it gets harder after you turn 50 to lose weight, to get in shape, to feel better, you know, and you can see like people get on medications and then it's more medications and it's this and I work in a, like I said, a medical building where it's a family practice where you see people of all ages, and there are some elderly who are very healthy and very spry, and then there's the others that they're my age and they act like the elderly, you know. And so I was just really had to think about what it was I really wanted. When I started this way of life, it was kind of with the idea of, what have I got to lose? I had overheard one of my doctors talking about bulletproof coffee. And he was talking to somebody else. So I'm an excellent eavesdropper for the most part. I know enough to keep my mouth shut when I overhear things, but I overhear a lot of things. And overheard him talking about this bulletproof coffee, and I Googled it, wondering what it was. Basically, I thought, well, let's just start with trying to be interested in getting out of bed in the morning, because that was the hardest thing. I didn't want to go to sleep at night. I didn't want to get up in the morning. I was in pain. I lived on ibuprofen. I was overweight. The weight just kept going up. By this point, you know, I didn't register it, but I was probably 260 pounds. I just stayed away from the scales and then started kind of watching what I was eating, and finally weighed myself when I finally got into this way of eating, or when I kind of decided to commit to this way of eating. So, like I said, it started kind of accidentally. I first started with just Googling bulletproof coffee and what was it. And at first I didn't know you had to blend it. So I had this cup of coffee with like butter floating on top of it, and it was disgusting. And I'm like, I might have even had some coconut oil at that point already in the house, because I would use it for cooking and various things. So I think I did. I made bulletproof coffee, and I had a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of coconut oil. And I might not have had heavy whipping cream at first. I can't remember. It was a year ago, so who knows. But, you know, I didn't know I had to blend it, and I'm stirring it, and it looks like swamp sludge on the top of my coffee. But I drank it. I'm like, well, okay, let's, you know, it's supposed to be fat for energy and caffeine for alertness. And I drank it, and I got through the morning a little bit better. And then I did some more research and realized that I needed to blend it. And at that point, I had a plastic canister blender, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna do it, even if it's plastic, you know, because a little bit of concern about heated things going into plastic and releasing toxins. But I'm like, again, what do I have to lose? I already feel like crap. So then I blend in the coffee, and it tasted amazing. I was like, and at that point it was stevia, or no, it was Splenda or something to that effect. I hadn't figured out, even heard of erythritol yet. I hadn't really heard much about stevia, so it was just the standard sweeteners that you buy at the grocery store, and I think it was probably Splenda. But the coffee tasted amazing, and I was like, this I could wake up for, you know. And so it made me want to get up in the morning, because it was something to look forward to. The coffee tasted so good that I was like, oh good, you know, something to help me get out of bed in the morning. And it helped me stay satiated, and I wasn't hungry, and I was alert, and I was ready to go. And then, so then I started researching a little bit more about the bulletproof coffee. And then, like, you know how Google, you like read one thing and then it leads you to something else, and you read something else, and next thing I know, I was reading about the ketogenic way of life, low carb, high fat. And I'm like everyone else. I'm like, high fat? What? How can high fat, how can I lose weight eating high fat? Hello, Maggie. But, you know, but I thought, well, apparently, you know, just doing the low carb with Atkins didn't work, because I was gaining weight on Atkins. I was doing it, and I started out good, and then a couple weeks into it, the weight started coming on, and it was going, and that was back before all of this. It was like around Thanksgiving. I'd started the beginning of November, and by Thanksgiving I'd put everything I'd lost while still doing Atkins back on. And I was tracking, and I was walking, and I was trying to walk, and And I'm like, forget this. If I'm just going to gain weight, why would I eat like this? So then, you know, fast forward to January, and I'm reading about moderate protein, high fat, low carb. And I'm like, well, what have I got to lose? All I can do is try it. And it took a while for me to wrap my brain around high fat. I'll be honest. Because you're told, watch your fats, lower your fats, don't eat that, don't add butter, cut out the butter, don't use butter, use a nonstick pan with water, don't, you know. So it took a little bit for me to be like, that is my friend. So yeah, that was where I was at when I started this a year ago. And I just started it, and I started it with, let's see what happens. Let's give it a try. I hadn't been heard of any of the keto communities. Didn't know there was any on Facebook. Hadn't heard of any YouTubers. It wasn't until I'd had a couple of cups of bulletproof coffee and read a little bit more online about keto that I thought, well, let's look at YouTube. And I really wasn't a big YouTuber at that point. Once in a while I would look up something on YouTube if I needed to know how to do something. And I found Keto Karma. And she was great. And then I found Michelle Rock. And she was great. And here were women who were doing this and losing weight and talking about it. So giving their journey. And I was like, wow, this is kind of amazing. And at that point I still didn't know about all the health benefits that go with this way of eating. And, you know, and then I found Chantal, and then I found, I'm trying to think of, like, there was a couple other people that I followed, but they kind of stopped doing videos. But the first primary two was Keto Karma and Michelle Rock. And then, so now Keto Karma doesn't post much now. She reached her goal, and she went on to do, have the excess skin removed. And she hasn't posted a lot lately since her surgery. But I'm still a subscriber, and I still watch for her videos. Michelle has her own Facebook group, which is very cool, and I am a member of that one also. And Bryndís in Iceland, I follow her. Grandma DC, I follow her. As far as YouTubers, Jermaine, I follow him. So I have, like, my favorites. Kayla does keto, I follow her. And I still follow Chantal, and I mean, there's just a tremendous list of fellow YouTubers and ketoers, and I look forward to their videos all the time. I mean, it's a great support. Plus the Facebook groups are great support. The fact that my best friend's doing this, my daughter started doing it, and my sister started in April of last year. So come April, she'll be having started this way of life. And Sam, my daughter, started, when did she start? She started, seems like the beginning of August. I'd have to ask her exactly when she started. And then Gayle decided to start it towards the end of August. I know Sam started it sometime in the summer, and she's done amazing. And, you know, she looks awesome. Gayle looks awesome. My sister looks tremendous. And, you know, the fact that when they eat that way, they feel better. A lot of my daughter's health issues have went away. Her stomach issues, her stomach ulcers. Just, I'm so proud of them, and I'm so happy for them. I'm happy that my doing this could help someone else. And oh my gosh, this is already 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. But this is going to be long, and I really apologize for the commercial you have to watch in the middle of all of it. But probably dinner will be a repeat of lunch. Probably some more tuna and coleslaw, because that really hit the spot. If I'm even hungry. Right now I'm not hungry. I did make myself some coffee with heavy whipping cream, and I've been working on that. And we had to go to town and get some more McDonald's coffee because I ran out. But thanks for watching. I'm so sorry this is so long, but I knew I wanted to touch base a little bit, reflect on the last year, and I'll probably do it again in future vlogs since we're winding down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, in 5 days I hit my anniversary. So Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, if you click the, it's not square, it's rectangled subscriber button, it's red, you will be notified when I post another video. And let's see, if you have any questions or comments, you are welcome to leave them below. And I have an email address. I check about every other day. I'm kind of slow on that one, but if you make a comment below, I respond generally within 24 hours. I look forward to comments, and I think it's a priority to respond. And I mentioned previously, I do have a Facebook group that I created for everyone to share in their keto experience called Real Life Keto. That will be linked below. Please make sure your profile is open so we can tell you're a real person for Real Life Keto. And again, thanks for watching and following with me on this countdown to my keto anniversary. Keto on!